YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back, and I got my NCAA tournament bracket for you guys today. We're also starting a group here where you guys can join and make your selections, your picks for each round, and we'll see who ends up winning this tournament challenge here. So I'll pin a link in the comments with that, along with everything else. Our Twitter, absolute must follow. It's a big week. We got March Madness and NFL Madness, free agency starting. We'll have you covered through all of that. If you're new, full NFL coverage here, grading every single free agency signing, and we got you covered for the draft as well. So again, follow that Twitter, subscribe, be much appreciated. Any link that you're looking for in the comments and description. But yeah, for this, using this, the ESPN men's tournament challenge, like how we always do it here, and you guys can join. I'll pin a link there and I'll tweet it out too. So it's a Goat House group. We'll see who ends up winning it. So I'm gonna go game by game here. And make my picks. I got Gonzaga, 1 seed versus 16 seed there. We'll see who they end up playing. I don't think it's going to matter too much. Oklahoma, Missouri. Two, I think, similar teams. You know, they don't rebound overly, that well, I suppose. I like Oklahoma's scoring ability a little better, so I'm going to go to Oklahoma. Should be one of the better. It's 8-9. Should be one of the better matchups. Creighton and UCSB. Yeah, I'm going to go UCSB on that one. Creighton, their whole situation with Coach McDermott there. Not feeling them. Virginia, Ohio. Ohio could be a sneaky team. I'm going to go with UVA there, though. They play, typical Virginia basketball. Very good on defense. USC, and will either be Wichita or Drake. I'm going to take USC on that one. Kansas, Eastern Washington. I'm going to go Kansas there, obviously. Oregon, VCU could be another tough, solid game here, but I'm going to go Oregon, Iowa, and Grand Canyon. Got to go with Iowa. I think one of the more complete teams as well here in the tournament. Going down to the East region, Michigan. I got to go Michigan there. We'll see if they'll be 100% though. This is the region where I get a little cute here with this region. LSU and St Bonaventure. I'm going to go LSU. I like the way they played in the SEC tournament there. Almost had it, actually. Tough game against Bama. Colorado, Georgetown. Got to go with the Hoyas here. They're feeling it. It's everyone thinks this as well. I mean, it's kind of a lot of people's philosophy. Probably look for the teams that kind of get hot. Not only that, but get hot at the right time, end of the season. But in tournament play, you want to see which teams are very solid. Playing back-to-back days, really. So Georgetown, not that good of a team during the year, but Ewing's got them playing pretty well at the right time of the year. Florida State and UNC Greensboro. I'm going to go Florida State. Tough one here. BYU. We got a few sneaky teams. We don't even know who's going to win Michigan State, UCLA yet. But all three really sneaky teams in my opinion. BYU, didn't play the best teams. They had to deal with Gonzaga, though. So a pretty tough team here. It's not like they're matching up against Gonzaga here. And Michigan State, a lot better than their record shows. Big Ten, super tough. They played and beat a lot of really good teams. I'm kind of, UCLA could be good as well. I'm kind of leaning towards Michigan State, but we kind of get the 2-for-1 here with this one. But that's a tough one. I got to go Texas here. UConn, Maryland. I'm going to roll with Maryland. Alabama wins the SEC. Like the way they shoot the ball. I'm going to go with Alabama. Up to the south, Baylor, Hartford. We got to go Baylor. North Carolina, Wisconsin. This could be, I know there's a couple other on the, top of my mind here for, best games in round one. This is one of them. Might be the best one. Toughest one to pick, in my opinion. North Carolina, Wisconsin. North Carolina feels like they're getting better. If they show up like they did against Notre Dame the most recent game against Notre Dame, they might be in business. But, Wisconsin, a lot better matchup than Notre Dame. I'm going to go Wisconsin. That's going to be a good one. I'm going to go Wisconsin. North Carolina, yeah, again, I feel like they're playing better ball, still a little sloppy. Wisconsin, they take good looks. They're not going to turn the ball over an insane amount. I'm going to go with them. Nova and Winthrop. Nova's going to be without their point guard, and I'm not really a fan of how they've been playing. That's probably why. I'm going to go. I went crazy with the 5-12s here. We already had one, and I went with Georgetown. I went a little wild with the 5-12s, but it could be understandable there. I went with Purdue. Good one here, Texas Tech, Utah State. I really like the way Texas Tech plays, even going back 2019, well-coached team. They play hard, high-motor team. Utah State, they beat San Diego State twice this year. They fell to them the third time in the conference championship game there for the Mountain West. So that's a pretty good team. So it should be a pretty good matchup. I just really like the way Texas Tech plays. So I'm going to go with Texas Tech. Arkansas and Colgate. Colgate, what do they have? One loss. That's impressive. They shoot the ball well. They haven't played a whole bunch of games, so experience could kick in. Arkansas was one of the hotter teams in basketball, I thought, up until that LSU game where they were pretty damn sloppy, so they disappointed me there, but they were hot. It's a good team. I think kind of getting that experience and more games under your belt here could be the difference, but that's a sneaky 14 seed. Florida v Tech, another one that's kind of a toss-up to me. Could go either way. I end up going with Florida. Maybe I trust them a little bit more shooting. I'm going to go Ohio State, of course, here. Illinois and Drexel. You got to go Illinois. It's a really good matchup. Loyola Chicago and Georgia Tech. Even though this is where Loyola Chicago should be seated, I was kind of expecting, just because they're Loyola Chicago, I was expecting Loyola to be like 10 seed, but this is probably where they should be. It's a really good team. It's a similar team that made that run, in the tournament not too long ago. They play ridiculous on-ball defense. They're going to make you, keep passing until you turn the ball over. They're not going to let you get good looks. You look at the way Georgia Tech played against Florida State the other day, in the ACC championship game. Georgia Tech played a lot like how Loyola plays, and Georgia Tech, you see that quite a bit, especially down the stretch here. They'll make you turn it over. They'll make you look sloppy, and they were pretty impressive against Florida State, and that's a pretty good basketball team there too as well. It's another really good game. I really like the way Loyola plays. I think they're a little more consistent. Going to take some better looks. But consistency maybe goes along with who they're playing. Georgia Tech playing much harder teams, of course. I'm kind of hoping for that Illinois Loyola matchup. Be pretty fun, I suppose. Georgia Tech, again, pretty good team though. Tennessee, Oregon State. Oregon State pulls off the Pac-12. Tennessee was looking like, man, early in the year, I was thinking, is Tennessee going to be it's a Final Four team? Like, is this a team I can see myself picking this team to win it all? I don't know what happened down the stretch. I do know they got the talent there, though. They're still a very good team. Even though they've been extremely disappointing down the stretch. They could have had the SEC championship. They blew it against Alabama. They had that game in the first half. I got to go with them still. They've been disappointing. I got to go with them. Oklahoma State's a very solid team playing Liberty, going with them. San Diego State, Syracuse. Syracuse being an 11 seed, it's still Syracuse. That's never really fun, even though we're kind of getting used to what's somewhere in this range. But San Diego State's a really good team. Really only struggled against Utah State this year, and they got better. They found a way to beat them in a title game where it matters most, at the time where it matters most. I'll take West Virginia here. Clemson, Rutgers. I'm going to go Clemson. Houston's pretty solid defensive team. I'm going to go Houston there. Now we're going to the next round. Gonzaga, Oklahoma. I got to go Gonzaga. We're going to go Virginia again. It's one of those, another team that just make you take tough shots, and they'll make you play sloppy ball, and they're pretty good passing the ball. Sometimes, they're passing the ball around too much, and they take too long to get their, I would say, open shot, but I think they pass up on open shots a little too much. USC and Kansas. Kansas is tricky because are they going to be at full strength? When are they going to be at full strength? That's a tough thing. It's a really good team when at full strength. I think it's a team capable of winning it all. Final Four, we'll say. USC could be sneaky. Kansas is tricky because we don't know. Oregon, Iowa. Iowa's one of the more balanced teams. I like Iowa there. Michigan, LSU. This is where I got a little wild. Still back and forth on this. Michigan, are they going to be at full strength? LSU, I really like the way they played in the SEC tournament there. They took a team like Arkansas, who was hot, playing really good ball, and they made them look like they weren't Arkansas. They played, how sloppy did Arkansas play in that game? So LSU will do that to you, and they can score. I think it's a pretty good matchup. Michigan, again, will they be 100%? They might be, so we might have to revisit that, I suppose. But that's not how it works. Georgetown, Florida State. Georgetown, hot at the right time. Looked like a tournament team. They definitely improved. Florida State. This is tough because, I know who I'm picking. I'm picking Florida State, but it's tough because I hated the way Florida State played against Georgia Tech in the ACC title game. That was brutal. How sloppy they were. They turned the ball over like crazy. I just don't know if I could trust Georgetown to go, further than this. Florida State's just a better team, really, overall. Texas getting hot at the right time. I'm going to go Texas over what I think will be Michigan State. Could be BYU, could be UCLA. Alabama, live and die by the 3. I mean, they can do more than that, but it's one of those 3-ball teams that you don't really want to play. Very dangerous team. I'm going to go Alabama. Then we're going over to Baylor, Wisconsin. Wisconsin could be tricky. I'm going to go Baylor, though. Depends on what Baylor shows up. Look like the best team in basketball, one of the best teams, and they still end up being earlier. Pretty damn disappointing down the stretch. It just felt like it turned out that the Big 12 was a little better than expected, so it's just a tough conference. Winthrop and Purdue. Purdue, another one of those Big 10 teams that is, better than their record shows. Just they put up fights with good teams. They beat good teams, and they'll lose to some. Big 10's just deep. Texas Tech and Arkansas. Good one here. Again, love the way Texas Tech played. Arkansas, I was kind of feeling them up until the LSU game because they were, extremely hot, but one game can't really decide things. But Arkansas played they turned the ball over so much, so sloppy down the stretch, even though they started to get really back in it against LSU. I think Texas Tech's a team that can make them play like that, though. A high motor team, all over the place, very fun to watch. I'm going to go Texas Tech because their style of play against Arkansas. Florida, Ohio State, I'm going to go with the Buckeyes there. Illinois and Loyola are going to love that matchup. Illinois, might be the most, talk about Gonzaga as well, but they're the most balanced team, all-around team. They got pretty much everything to their game. Loyola could throw them off their game. Illinois takes good shots, good looks. They're pretty consistent, pretty efficient, but Loyola could really throw them off. That Loyola team could be a dangerous team once again, but Illinois team is on fire right now. They're just better, so I think they'll find a way. Having the big man presence, I think will be a big factor there with Cockburn. Tennessee, Oklahoma State. Yeah, Big 12's looking impressive. Tennessee, not so much. It's just maybe I'm still trusting them a little too much from earlier in the year because I thought maybe this would be the team, earlier in the year, one of the teams. I'm thinking they kind of can get that back out of them. I don't know. I'm going to go Tennessee. That's going to be a really good matchup there. San Diego State, West Virginia. I like San Diego State. I like the way they're playing right now. I think, they're a pretty good defensive team, but I think somewhat balanced at the same time. Clemson, Houston. Yeah, Houston, one of the best defensive teams in the nation. And they're pretty good on their shots, and they, maybe you like them to take more shots, but they take the good looks there, but they're pretty good. Pretty good team here. And that's why it wasn't working. I was trying to figure out why I couldn't scroll. Now, did we do this whole side? Yes. Now we are on to the Sweet 16, Gonzaga, Virginia. Again, Virginia will play some damn good defense, possibly throw Gonzaga off a little bit. I think they're just too good offensively. Virginia can throw these offensive teams off, but can they keep up? Because at the end of the day, Gonzaga is still going to score. Kansas and Iowa is a really good one, too. I originally had Kansas, actually, in this one. But just thinking about when are they going to be full strength? Will they be full strength? Will they be full strength after maybe they're already out? So it's a tough team to figure out. I want Iowa. It's a really good team. So, if Kansas gets here and they're full strength here, I may be thinking at that time, might be thinking that Kansas is going to win the game. But do have a 1 and 2 up there. This is where I got a little crazy. What do we got? 8 and 4. I'm not loving myself for this, but I'm going to take Florida State. They are a good team. And the reason I say I'm not loving it myself there because, it's hard to pick a team, and it's one game. It's an ACC title game, but I just hated the way they looked. At the end of the day, that's pretty bad how they played, and they still were somewhat in that game. I also like the run that they have here. They should win against UNC Greensboro. Georgetown, a sneaky team, but Florida State should have it. And then they could see Michigan here. I do like the way they match up against Michigan, too, though. I think they got one of the, for a 4 seed, they probably got the easiest run for a 4 seed. That's kind of a weird thing to say, I guess, but that's what I'm going with. Texas, Alabama, 2-3, both teams hot right now. Love the way Alabama shoots, keep saying that. Really solid team. So I'm going to go with them. Illinois, Tennessee. I'm thinking Tennessee might be able to get that, that early season back out of them, but there's only so much you can keep them, can they stay consistent, this long? Maybe it's not even likely to stay consistent this long, and now they're playing one of the best teams in the nation here in Illinois. So I'm going to go Illinois. San Diego State and Houston. Really like this Houston team. Kind of in my head the last couple of weeks, I'm thinking, this Houston team could be a Final Four team for sure. Really liking them. I kind of like the way San Diego State matches up with them, though. These are these are defensive teams, and I think San Diego State's got a little more, in terms of this creating, scoring. So I think it's a pretty good matchup for them. It's gonna be a low scoring game. It's gonna be a fun one for sure. So you got a 6 seed there, Illinois and San Diego State. Baylor Purdue. It's a tough one too because Purdue's got, I think, a somewhat easy run to this point. Like I expect them, Winthrop, pretty good team. They have one loss this year. It could be Villanova too. I mean, it's a good team at full strength. So they might not have an easy run, but it's a run that we're projecting. Maybe, I guess, at least me, but I think a lot of people, that it shouldn't be that hard for them to get here. Baylor might have more of a shot of losing to whether it's Wisconsin or North Carolina. So I was thinking about Purdue, but I think Baylor kind of catches fire again the way they were playing earlier in the year, mid-season, and they're just the better team. So I'm gonna go them. Texas Tech and Ohio State. Again, I love the way Texas Tech plays. Love that style of play for a well-coached team too for March here. I was really thinking about it, but I'm going to go Ohio State because even though, with all that being said, I think Ohio State is definitely the better team still. Texas Tech's got to go through Utah State, which is a free one, Arkansas, and then Ohio State in this case. Ohio State, I think another somewhat easy run. I guess Florida, Virginia Tech's it's not a freebie by any means, but I think we expect Ohio State here with, we should be pretty confident on that. So we're on the Elite Eight now. We got 1-2, and we got 2-4. We got a 1-6 down there, and we got a 1-2. Gonzaga Iowa rematch from earlier in the year. I think a pretty even matchup. Both balanced teams could score, could get rebounds. I like Gonzaga. You do start to worry a little bit because they're the best team in basketball. Undefeated team. When was the last time an undefeated team won a national title too? But mainly because, they haven't really been playing the best competition that goes every year, though. That's why they get stopped short. It always kind of sticks in the back of your mind. You're going to have to go, besides round one, you're going to have to go and, with Oklahoma, round after round after round playing better teams that you're used to playing against. So maybe Iowa can get one on them, or if it's Kansas. But I'm still going to go Gonzaga. They've been the best team all year for a reason. Florida State, Alabama. I can't have Florida State going any further. I really like this. I really like this Alabama team. So I'm going to go with them. Baylor and Ohio State. This is tough. Baylor is tricky because you just don't know. I just don't like the way that they've been playing recently. They did have a run-in with the COVID situation though, so if they're to say clear, I think they're pretty damn good. Ohio State feels a little more consistent. I think they have Texas Tech's gonna be tough. If they play them more. Arkansas. I was gonna say they have a little easier run. I'm kind of feeling Baylor. Maybe they get back again mid-season form there for their sake. Hopefully. But I do like that Ohio State team. These Big Ten teams are so good. You see Iowa right there as well. So Gonzaga and Baylor on to the Final Four, and Alabama. Illinois, San Diego State, I got Illinois there. San Diego State, somewhat bold, I think. I don't think it's too out there. I think it's a pretty good team. Everyone knows. And they were going to be a 1 seed last year when the tournament didn't happen. Just remember that. So they got a little bit of that in them still, too. So they can catch fire here. Yeah, that's a good team. But Illinois is on fire. Again, they do everything well. They got that big man presence. Those teams that usually have that, can't really score that well, but Illinois scores super well, from the perimeter, mid-range. So that's my Final Four. We got 1-2, 1-1. I guess that's a little boring, but we had some upsets along the way. So, but yeah, a lot riding on. Gonzaga not, falling to maybe playing better competition back-to-back. Alabama's tricky too because, again, I love the way they shoot the ball. I mean, they can do everything pretty well, but it's mainly, it's almost, they just shoot well. It's a 3-ball, and that could be dangerous, but you also riding on. Also Texas one off night. They were kind of off against Tennessee in the first half. They were kind of disastrous, maybe not that far, shooting the ball, and they still won the game. Tennessee's a talented team. So you could say that they could be off and still win, but if it could, in a tournament like this, it could just take one off night and then boom, they're done. And that could be in round 2, whatever. And it's riding on Baylor getting mid-season form. It's riding on Illinois staying hot right now. I'm going to go Gonzaga, just reasons I just explained, actually. This would be a heck of a game. Both teams scoring. Alabama would have to be on their game 3-wise. But, Alabama's a dangerous team. People don't want to play that team that could shoot like that, but they got to stay consistent. It's so hard to stay this consistent. It's a team that's probably going to go really far. Like it's a team you can almost guarantee it's going to go really far. But, it starts to get more of a long shot to actually win it all because they got to stay that consistent against the best. So I'm going to go Gonzaga. A lot riding on. Baylor kind of getting the midseason form here, which they're a very good team. I'm just trusting Illinois more right now. Again, they got the presence down low at Kofi Cockburn. I mean, he's just an absolute dominant force down there lately, and they can shoot. They take really good shots. I think it's just a balanced team all the way through. Gonzaga, Illinois, can Gonzaga. They're undefeated, but I in a way, I still kind of doubt them, playing the best of the best. I guess not every week, but almost. I think they can come up short here. I'm going to go with the Illini. I always pick teams that, and Gonzaga's been hot the whole way, so I think people start to forget that. But I always pick teams that look like they've improved, and they got hot at the right time, and they have the key pieces in the right spots, balanced all the way through. I can't really find a flaw in their game. I'm going to go with Illinois. I'm kind of feeling them. Score, I actually didn't think of the score yet, so you have to give me time on that one. But I will submit that, and you guys can submit your brackets. I'll pin a link in the comments. You can have a lot of fun with this. You can follow us on Twitter for constant NFL news. That is going to do it for this one. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Goodbye.